The sea smelled of salt and freedom, sharp on the wind. Moonlight struck the waves in silver ribbons, and the night air carried a subtle tension, as if the waters themselves whispered secrets of those who had vanished beneath their surface. Miss Ellerine stood at the bow of the small sloop, lantern in hand. The boat rocked gently, the rhythmic slap of water against the hull like a heartbeat. Tonight, she said, voice low, we sail with the unseen, with pirates and rebels, and all who claim liberty on the waves. I shivered, not from cold, but from anticipation. We passed small islands, hidden coves, reefs, jagged enough to rip any careless vessel apart. I realized then the Caribbean was a labyrinth of danger, cunning, and possibility. The same way the land had hidden Maroons, the sea hid those who refused enslavement. In the shadows of a crescent moon, I saw them, ships sailing silently through the water, sails dark as night. Men and women moved with precision, their eyes sharp, muscles coiled. These were no ordinary sailors, they were privateers and pirates. Many of African descent, once enslaved, now masters of survival and strategy. A figure emerged on deck, broad-shouldered, with a leather tricorn hat pulled low. His gaze swept the horizon, calculating, fearless. "Henry Morgan," I whispered. Ellerine shook her head. "No, too famous, too public. We followed the unknown, the forgotten. Captain Francis, a man born in Saint Dominique, escaped slavery, now feared by Europeans for his cunning and speed. He take what they steal, give freedom to those he can." I watched as Francis' crew readied the ship, ropes tightened, cannons cleaned, maps unfurled. But strategy was not only in armaments, it was in alliances, networks of Maroons on shore, freed blacks across islands, even sympathetic merchants in port towns. Every move required intelligence, secrecy, and the ability to vanish like smoke. Ellerine's voice cut through the night. Pirates live by the law of the sea, but also by principle. Freedom over gold, liberty over comfort. Every alliance, every escape route, every hidden cove, carefully remembered. Francois' ship glided toward a narrow inlet, lined with jagged cliffs, cannons trained on the shore, but the men knew the waters better than any navy. I felt the tension, the thrill, the delicate balance between life and death. A small skiff appeared on the horizon. Francis, lieutenant, a woman named Marie, shouted instructions in French, English, and Creole. The exchange was rapid, precise, almost musical. I realized then that this was a language of survival, forged through necessity, rebellion, and cunning. The skiff carried escaped slaves seeking transport to freedom. Francis's crew welcomed them, guiding the small boat safely into the cove. Each rescued soul was a victory, not for riches, but for humanity and freedom. The crew camped on a secluded shore. Firelight danced across faces, shadows flitting across rocks and palms. The pirates shared intelligence with Maroon scouts who emerged from the forest. Messages of French and Spanish patrols, hidden supplies, and secret trade routes. Ellerine explained. Pirates and Maroons often intersected. One fought on sea, one on land. Both seek freedom, both challenge colonial control. Their alliances, quiet and secret, shift power in ways Europe cannot predict. I listened as whispered stories unfolded. Women disguised as men on ships, navigators who memorized reefs to trap enemy vessels, and Maroons who used hidden paths to ambush colonial patrols. The Caribbean was not just the sea, it was a theatre of resistance. Every island, every cove, every hidden channel held strategy and memory. By dawn, the fires burned low. I watched Francis and Marie speaking quietly, the ocean stretching before them. These pirates were not mere thieves, they were visionaries, rebels, and protectors. Ellery's words lingered. Gold alone never guide them. Freedom guide them. Loyalty, cunning, courage. That is the law of the sea here. They survive because they respect one another, and they fight because they cannot be chained. I imagined the countless lives intertwined, freed Africans, Maroons, privateers, local villagers, all bound by the quest for liberty. Each wave carried stories of rebellion, risk, and resilience, and the sea, ever watchful, carried them forward. As we sailed on, the horizon blushing with first light, I understood the Caribbean's power was not only in land or mountain or forest, it was in its waters, its networks, its rebels, its stories, whispered in shadow, ensured that freedom lived, even when unseen.